Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick, and joining me equally as always is Devon.
Dope!
Yeah, today we're talking about The Simpsons, and specifically we're talking about episodes, but for those of you who may be following along, this is going to be one of our in-hand episodes. This is going to be out of order, and it's an extra credit. So...
It's not extra credit, it's in hand. It means when one of us is sick, probably Rick, it's going to come out then.
Yeah. And if you're used to the show, we always start with our good old time-honored tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. And do you have one for me today?
I do. It's a bit boring, it's a bit generic, but hey ho diddly do. Rick, you have to make a Simpsons couch gag. Go for it. And hey, guess what? I'm not an expert. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of Simpsons couch gags. So even if you do accidentally make one that already exists, at least try not to consciously make one that exists already.
Yeah, I would have like one of the family members just be replaced by someone else, and then nobody questions it.
I think they've done that before.
Like Bart's Mole Man or something.
That's literally a gag in an episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's a gag in an episode, but like something along those lines, like
just have it. Shit, I think they've done this one as well, but just have the voice cast sitting on the couch.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
But again, I think they've done that, or something similar.
Yeah.
Crossovers aren't off the table for a couch gag.
Yeah. Or you can do a couch gag where it's just the Flanders family instead.
Yeah. Fucking Ned sits down with Rod and Todd, and you just got two ghosts behind them.
Yeah.
Oh. That would be funnier if the reason Edna was gone wasn't because the voice actress is literally no longer with us.
Yeah. It might actually be a reasonable good one for a Halloween where the Simpsons house is just like a crater that's smoking, so you have to follow Ned instead.
That would be decent.
And like the whole Halloween episode is about the two ghosts.
That would be less decent, but okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, Ned's getting haunted, and or something like that. Well,
the problem with having Edna as a ghost is I feel like that would be, and actually have an episode focusing on it, is I feel that would be incredibly disrespectful.
Yeah. So my one for you is, what one-shot or guest character would you like to have the Simpsons show adopt into their long-term roster?
Long-term?
Yeah, like make them into a normal character.
A guest character? As in someone voiced by a celebrity?
Yeah, so it could be someone voiced by a celebrity that is themselves. It could be someone voiced by a celebrity guest who is like their own character. Someone like Larry Burns, for instance. Like, he only shows up once, but like it's weird that he never shows up again.
I mean, yeah, except the reason he doesn't show up again is because he's voiced by Rodney fucking Dangerfield.
Yeah.
And he's got better things to do when he was
And the character has a family.
Does he?
Yeah, like the end of the gag at the end is, oh yeah, shit, my wife will be wondering where I am.
Listen, I love Rodney Dangerfield to death. He is sorely missed. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be really funny for Roy to come back.
Okay.
Do you remember Roy?
Was that the teenage kid that got adopted into the Simpsons household during the Poochie episode?
It was, yeah. He showed up once at the end of the episode. Once at the beginning where they make the joke of, guest characters just to make old cartoons feel better. And he goes, hey, Mrs. S. And at the end he goes, I'm moving to college with two sexy ladies.
Bye, Roy.
I think that would be great if he came back and came back for a season and then just fucked off again. Not overstay his welcome. That being said, we're on season 34?
Yeah, something like that, something stupid. And all this time we've only had two-parters, and one of them was good.
Well, like you say, I've not seen the other two-parter because that was new.
So you're gonna go with Roy?
Yeah,
Roy.
They don't even need to pay a new voice actor because I'm pretty sure it was just Dan Castanella.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about Simpsons episodes of the past.
Do you want to tell the audience what the gimmick was behind this episode?
I can't remember what the actual line of thought was, other than the fact that I think we thought, man, didn't Simpsons used to be good? And then we thought, okay, yeah, well, let's do a retrospective on that.
Okay, so the gimmick was, I said to Rick, hey, let's each choose episodes and we both talk about them. But we do it individually of one another. So this is going to be the first time today we find out what each other has picked.
Yep, we might have picked the same episode.
I'm secretly hoping that we might have, but considering how many episodes we have to choose from, even if we do restrict it to the first 9 seasons, which we're not doing, but we could, that's still 100 plus episodes to choose from.
Yeah. It'd be like throwing a needle at a dartboard and seeing what sticks. But I guess it's time for us to reveal.
All right, do you want to reveal your one first?
My first is You Only Move Twice.
Interesting. No, I did not pick this one myself.
Yeah, so this one has my favourite, I think possibly my favourite Simpsons song.
Could you do me a favour and give me a brief synopsis, because I can't remember the title. Remember it based on the title alone.
Well, the song is Scorpio!
Oh, yeah! Globex!
Yeah, the Globex Corporation. Can a man walk down the street without being offered a job?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, they wanted to poach Smithers, but Smithers is so loyal to Mr. Burns because he wants to fuck him.
Yup.
That he will not jump ship. Hey, I've got a question for you, Rick. Did you jot down original air dates and stuff for this?
I didn't for this one, no.
Did you jot down season number and episode number?
I didn't, no.
Boy, did you not do as much research as I thought you was going to.
Yeah, I've done a bit more like behind the scenes stuff and bits of trivia. So Hank Scorpio is the guest star of this episode. He's voiced by Albert Brooks.
I don't know who that is.
He recorded over 2 hours of lines for this 22-minute episode.
Jesus.
Just because he's just that dedicated of a comedian. Homer gets poached by the Globex Corporation because they're looking for the most senior nuclear technician that they can find because, they're an evil corporation trying to take over the world. And Homer happens to be the second most long-serving member of the nuclear power plant family.
It's also not how jobs work anymore.
I know, right?
People have learnt since then. Back then, that used to be a good go-to, easy way to go, hey, who's worth stealing? Oh, well, he's worked here for 20 years, so he must be good, right?
Yep. These days, that means he's not learned anything in 20 years, most likely, half the time.
Well, sometimes... Well, here's a catch-22 when it comes to working, folks, and this is no exaggeration. If you are too good at your job, they will never promote you.
Unless they promote you out of the job that you're in to something that you're not good at. And then that's like pointy head boss syndrome. Like, you get put in something that you're terrible at.
But no. Because if you are too good at your job, you become irreplaceable at your job, which means they don't want to replace you, which means you can't progress. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about fucking, like, weird political offices. I'm talking about just bog standard jobs, not fucking super-powered maniacal jobs. Like, I work in an office. I'm good at IT. I've now been promoted in quotation marks to HR, which I'm shit at because I've never done it before. Now I'm fired, all because Gary doesn't like me.
Yeah.
You're talking about fucking office place fucking politics. I'm talking about bog standard jobs like retail or in hospitality. It's like, cool, you're really good at doing this, which means we can't promote you or change your job because we can't get someone else to do this.
Homer and the family moves to Cypress Creek, which I think was originally meant to be called Emerald Caverns, but they tried to make it sound more Silicon Valley-ish.
I wouldn't fucking know.
And the rest of the family members hate it there.
Even Homer doesn't really like it. He just he gets this weird ego boost of, hey, I'm actually good at my job here because my job's not a real one.
Yeah, but saying that, if you think back to other episodes, like, he's really good at inspiring other people to do better. Like, remember the baseball episode where he's got the baseball bat that he made out of a lightning tree?
Yeah, but at the same time, that exact same thing you're talking about is what killed that one dude, Hank Grimes.
Well, yeah.
So, to be honest with you, I think the driving a colleague to suicide is more than balances out him motivating a baseball win. Oh, yeah. God, I still remember that of, there's a little boy in hospital hoping that you win this game. I know this because I put him there myself.
Yep, I crippled him myself.
It just cuts to Milhouse going, boy, I hope the Isotopes win, otherwise Mr. Burns said he's coming back. Oh, Jesus. Not Daryl Strawberry. There's that one guy who's like, God damn it, I told you for the last time, shave those sideburns. And he just quits. He goes, I don't know what you think sideburns are. I quit. Because at that point, he's just got no facial hair and no hair. It's just like, what the fuck does Mr. Burns want?
Yeah. Mattingly, I thought I told you to trim those sideburns. You're off the team for good.
And you got not Daryl Strawberry, it was another one who's just got a massive fucking irradiated head.
Oh my God, gigantism. Yeah, Strawberry's the only one that doesn't actually get sacked from the team.
Yeah, the reason why I corrected myself is I remembered Strawberry was the one who actually got up to the field, and you got Bart going, Strawberry, and he just does that one single tear. Yeah.
And everyone else gets replaced by their original team members.
Except Homer.
Except Homer. And Burns goes, yeah, Simpson, the person playing your part is still here.
Boy, we can do a tangent like the best of them, Rick.
Yeah. That's what That's what old Simpsons is for. It's for remembering old Simpsons. You just remember the good old days. But yeah, the good part about Hank Scorpio is that he is, even though he's a maniacal evil villain, he's an incredibly good boss who legitimately cares for all of his guys, and that's implied to be the reason why he actually wins in the end behind off camera.
Well, I think I've told you this before, but like one of the funniest things to me is that Lex Luthor is less evil than Jeff Bezos.
Yes. Yeah, he actually pays his workers. And yeah, we've got other things in this episode, like the Hammock District. Apparently that entire segment was completely ad-libbed.
Yeah, to be honest with you, looking back, it feels like it.
Yes, so he completely ad-libbed it, and then Castellaneta was just like trying to follow along, just going, and then he finally caught up and went, oh, the Hammock District. And then he kept it in and animated around it.
But that's one of the beautiful things about Castellaneta in particular, is that he really does just fall into Homer.
Yeah.
Like, I think I heard once that, at least in the early days, a lot of the does were just real. Because Castaneda was in character. When he flubs something, he just goes, dough, and then keeps going.
Yep. Or annoyed grunt, as it says in the script. There is no dough in the script.
Oh, fair enough. It's iconic, though, now.
It is, yeah. So the other family members, Bart gets put in the remedial class.
I set fires.
And one of them is from Canada, and they think that he's slow, eh?
Yeah. Dude, someone did an edit of this back in the day of, they edited it all with wrestlers. And it was great because it was actually like, I Set Fires was Kane because he's a pyromaniac, and I'm from Canada, was just Chris Jericho because he's Canadian. It was so funny.
They wanted Marge to become an alcoholic, but they backpedaled on it a little bit and made it into the gag that she drinks a whole glass of wine a day because the house cleans itself, the food cooks itself, and she's got nothing to do. But
that's just it though, because it's kind of fucking depressing in that it gives us a bit of a glimpse to Marge's life as a whole, where you don't really appreciate it in most episodes, and that is Marge's entire life is just managing the household. She has nothing that is hers.
I think the closest thing she's got to having being hers is time with Maggie. But it's one of those things where the conflict for the two of them could actually be solved by Marge homeschooling Bart, which is something that she's done in another episode, and it was very successful.
Okay. Yeah, but there's no solving the fact that Lisa's fucking allergic to everything.
Yeah, which is weird because she's not allergic to everything anywhere else, but I guess they had to pull out the conflict ball for that.
Yeah, it's actually not allergic to everything. It's like that one specific flower flares her up, and because she's already miserable, when the random chipmunk attacks her, she takes it really personal. Yeah.
I
I firmly believe that Lisa's problems could probably be solved with time. I appreciate that not everyone wants to give up that time.
Hank has cream. He has sugar in his pockets when Homer wants some for his coffee.
That's one of my favourite jokes in the entire episode.
You want some cream? No.
It's so fucking random for no reason. It's great.
Apparently the bit where do you want some cream got cut from syndication, so you only get that line if you're watching it on DVD or VHS, and I had it on VHS.
I had it on DVD because there was a period. My dad was so happy to get a DVD player the first time, and then it took us forever to build up a DVD collection, and now that's defunct. But
Yep.
Yeah.
At least you got the album full of DVDs.
That's just my DVDs. When my dad passed away, I finally, because my dad was never going to get rid of those DVDs because he spent too much time getting them, and I respect that. I bought DVD folders once my dad passed away, and I just went, look, we want the shelf space. We're not getting rid of the actual DVDs, it's just the covers. I spent a good couple of hours one day just fucking putting all those DVDs in fucking folders.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a nice set of memories in a nice little folder that you can just go to at any time, you know?
I've never once looked at those folders, but I can't bring myself to throw away DVDs.
True.
It's still media, and it's physical media.
Yeah. Another thing in that episode is James Bond. Fox said, yeah, you can't have James Bond, so they changed one letter. And I was at an age when I watched this for the first time when I didn't give a shit about movies with humans in them, so I'd never watched a spy movie, and yet I still knew what a spy movie was meant to be, so it was still pretty funny.
Yeah, I think the laser death machine is like a trope for a reason now.
Yeah. And yeah, Albert Brooks, other things he's done, he was Marlin in Finding Nemo. And he was the villain in the Simpsons movie. They wanted to bring back Hank Scorpio, but everyone already loves that guy, so they wanted a villain that could actually do evil.
Yeah, that makes sense.
People wouldn't just get behind.
Because, hey, guess what? If you're on Hank Scorpio's side, he's a good dude. If you're not, you get burnt by a flamethrower.
And I think if he wanted to destroy Springfield, he'd probably stop as soon as he realised Homer lives there.
Yeah, but he sent his guys to scout out someone from Springfield's nuclear plant, so he probably already knew that Homer was from there.
Yeah, but yeah, Russ Cargill is the villain from the movie with obviously the same voice. Weirdly, his name is Einstein, so his actual name is Albert Einstein, and he changed it for the stage name to make it less recognisable.
That's weird, but okay.
And his brother is a stunt comedian, Super Dave, or was, sorry.
Oh, you're talking about the actor, not the character.
Yeah, the actual actor, yeah, the actual
I
actor,
thought you meant Hank Scorpio's real name was Albert Einstein, and there was some sort of weird backstory where Albert Einstein discovered a serum of youth.
Man, that would actually be a reasonable plot point.
Well, yeah, I know, that's why I just didn't question it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
the mini tangent, my answer to the same question that I posed to you would have been Scorpio, because I would like to see him face off against Mr. Burns. They are incredibly interesting counterparts to one another, because Scorpio is the incredibly good boss who actually succeeds at evil, whereas Mr. Burns is an incredibly bad boss who, when he tries to perform evil on a grand scale, people band together to stop him because they all fucking hate him.
Well, it's like, what is it? Hank Scorpio actually succeeded in taking over the West Coast.
Yeah, so he took over the entire coast, and as his severance package to Homer, he left him the Denver Broncos.
Which is actually a decent team now.
It's a decent team now, yeah. Homer wanted the Dallas Cowboys as part of his things that I want to achieve in my life, and he gets sent the Denver Broncos, who apparently were bottom of the league at the time.
Yeah. And they're just fucking training, doing drills outside the 742 Evergreen Terrace. But yeah, there is one gag which I don't know if you've got it written down or not, but I do remember very fondly because it really made me laugh. Because it's right near the end of the episode where Homer's leaving. Scorpio's in the middle of a fight to the death with FBI guys, and Homer just casually walks up and goes, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to quit. They have a very nice heart-to-heart, and then just as they're going, Hank straps on his flamethrower and just goes, hey Homer, if you really want to kill a guy on your way out, you'll be doing me a huge favour.
Yep. Yeah. Man, I love Hank Scorpio. He's such a fun character.
He really was.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much more or less all I had to say about that one episode. How about you? What was your episode that you picked from early Simpsons?
We haven't got the caveat of early Simpsons. We just both so happened to go there because we both like early Simpsons more.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't an unwritten rule. It was an unwritten guideline of good Simpsons that you liked.
Well, yeah, because if you want to go for a bad Simpsons episode, you just pick the Lady Gaga episode.
Yeah, the most hated episode of The Simpsons.
Because it's just so... no, we're not going to get into that today. We'll do it. We'll do another episode in the future one day where we just pick trash Simpsons and say why it's trash.
Yeah.
But yeah, my episode is possibly... I think it's my favourite episode of The Simpsons ever, full stop, alright?
Sure.
I picked the Treehouse of Horror 4.
Okie dokie. You're going to have to refresh me on what was actually in Treehouse of Horror 4. Because...
Oh, don't worry, I will.
Yeah.
First things first, just some technical information. It is Season 5, Episode 4. Original air date, 28th of October, 1993. So there is absolutely no way I watched this when it was new. But yes, I'll tell you the 3 episodes in Treehouse of Horror 4 because, yeah, you definitely remember one of them. You've got the Devil and Homer Simpson, where Homer Simpson sells his soul for a donut.
Yeah, the donut, yeah.
You've got Terror at 5.5 Feet, which is the one where Bart sees a little gremlin breaking the bus. And, of course, my favourite bit ever, Bart Simpson's Dracula.
Yes. Super fun happy slide.
It's so good. It's so good. Now, I noticed that you didn't take note of these things for your thing, so sorry. But yeah, there is no Bart Simpson chalk gag because it's Treehouse of Horror. You get to zoom in through the graveyard, and the couch gag was the Simpsons are all zombies and they burst out from the floor.
Yeah.
I don't know what the couch gag was for your episode. I don't know if you noted it down at all.
I didn't know.
I feel like it's something worth noting down because they're all generally unique.
Yeah, the only one that isn't was the first one they made, and that was the Miss Bots episode. It doesn't have a couch gag, so that's like the it's like the yardstick for every other couch gag is that it's a variation on this.
Okay. Yeah, this episode's fun because not only is it 3 mini episodes, you also get a little bit of a in-between exposition with Bart being all smartly dressed. The first of these is Bart intros the episode, and Marge interrupts him and tells him that don't be sure to warn the audience that this is a scary episode, so they better go to bed if they're children.
Yeah, yep. Is this the we are in control of your television set, and it ends up with you're about to notice the witness the foul horror that is the Simpsons Halloween special. Not before Homer goes, "This is my voice on TV."
Yeah, that's a different episode, but yeah, same sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This one is Bart touring a bit of a painting gallery.
Sure. Yeah.
So first up, we've got the Devil and Homer Simpson. As we said, this is the one where Homer sells his soul for a donut. Apparently, this was a parody of something called The Devil and Daniel Webster, which I'm not familiar with. So,
Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of these parodies from the 90s. They tended to parody things that are older than the 90s, and therefore, like, our generation, our first exposure to it is The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's a very weird feeling, ain't it?
Like, similar to me with Mr. Bond. Like, I'd never seen James Bond before. I knew what it was, but I'd never seen it. So, like, my first actual exposure to a character that behaved that way was in The Simpsons.
That's fair, man. But yeah, there's a really good gag early on where, Ned is the devil, and the devil straight up just goes, "Oh, it's always the ones you least expect."
Yep.
And
you're the devil.
There's a bit of an unwritten implication that Ned may or may not be the goody two-shoes that he actually is here, but also, Treehouse of Horror episodes are super not canon, so take that for what you will.
We also don't see Flanders outside of being the devil in that episode, so he might just be... might just be taking the form of Flanders.
Well, yeah, in this mini-episode in particular, yeah, but another mini-episode in this episode does show Ned as Ned, so...
Mm-hmm. I think this is the first time that Homer swears on camera.
What does he say?
He says, "Bastard!"
I don't remember that.
Because he's left himself a note, "I owe you one emergency donut," because he's eaten his own emergency donut, and that's why he has to sell his soul for one. Because he goes, "Bastard! He's always one step ahead."
I'll take your word for that. I don't remember that particular detail, but fair enough.
When it's shown on TV, it gets edited out.
Okay. But yeah, Homer gladly sells his soul for a donut, and he takes most of the donut in his mouth and eats it all in one bite, except for one little bit. And Homer rather gleefully taunts, so wait, if I don't finish the donut, you don't get my soul? And the devil's just like, technically, yes. And Homer starts doing a dance going, "I'm smarter than the devil. You are not smarter than me!" As he becomes a literal Chernobyl.
Yeah. "I'll see you in hell yet, Homer Simpson!"
It's really interesting that the devil can actually buy Homer's soul, because I gotta be honest with you, Homer's not the worst human being in history, but by biblical standards, I'd have assumed he was going to hell anyway.
Oh, by biblical standards, every American in The Simpsons is going to hell. Like,
they all eat fish.
Probably even Ned.
Ned's probably I think because Ned tries so hard, that counts for something, but who knows? The rules are weird.
Yeah. I think Ned might get a pass because, Ned is very definitely a better Christian than Reverend Lovejoy.
Oh, yeah. Reverend Lovejoy has been ground into nothing. There's an entire episode where he just quits the church. But yeah.
And he gets to play with his trains.
Yeah, he only comes back to save Ned.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, in my opinion, worth more than anything else that dude's done in his life, so, like, for fuck's sake, Reverend Lovejoy even refused to do gay marriages.
Yeah.
It was one
So Homer had to do them.
Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, I think he did do gay marriages, and then, Reverend Lovejoy refused to do gay marriages, and then once Homer married all the gay people in town, he moved on to stupid shit.
Yeah, like marrying cars to pigs or something like that.
Hey, you want to get married to something? I'll marry you, that's fine. But yeah, anyway, sorry, that's neither here nor there. The episode, where were we? Yes, in a sleepy stupor, Homer comes down in the middle of the night, and I think this is a bit of a failing of the family in that they left the donut in the fridge, an easily accessible place, with Homer able to get it easily, because he's very sleepy, and he just goes, "Oh, forbidden donut," takes the last bite, and who appears but the devil?
Yeah. Just encase it in a head of lettuce and put it in the freezer. Like, no one's going to go for that. Like,
pretty much, man. Like, just throw it away. As long as Homer isn't specifically the one to eat the last bite, in theory, it's fine.
I think if it gets eaten, then the contract is fulfilled. So if you chuck it away, then it's going to get eaten by rats and bacteria and all that. So you would probably have to freeze it.
Oh, who knows, man? Who knows? Guess what? We didn't see the contract.
No.
Speaking of contracts, Lisa comes in with the clutch save and demands a trial, which for some reason the devil decides to agree to when he doesn't really need to.
No, he doesn't, but like he summons his jury of the damned.
That's a bit later. First things first, Homer has to spend a bit of time in hell. We get some fun visual gags of Homer getting tortured, including him being chopped up into little bits and his mouth and shoes getting put into the hot dog meat bin.
Yep. And he gets the Infinity Donut machine.
Yeah, next up was the ironic punishment department force-feeding him donuts, and he gets really fucking fat while strapped into the machine, and the demon just scratches it and goes, I don't get it, and says a name I don't remember, which is probably a reference to something. Got cracked after 3.
Yeah, went mad in 10 minutes. There's also a deleted scene from this where a demon...
You fucker, I had this written down, go on.
Yeah, a demon takes his head, buffs it up as a bowling ball, and then chucks it down the alley.
Yeah, and when it hits the pins, his head cracks open, and there's just a note saying, I owe you one brain, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a deleted scene that you didn't have to go out your way to find because they showed it in the 138th episode Spectacular.
Similarly, I think mine also had a deleted scene from that episode, and it was when they were trying to sell the house before they moved to Cypress Creek. The blue-haired lawyer has a bunch of cats with him, and he's a crazy cat man, and he goes, does your house have a cat door? And this is before they just decide we can't sell it, and they just condemn the house, and then they uncondemn it when they get back.
Yeah, and Otto and his missus are in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favourite one is Ralph of, I'll give you one milk, make it a chocolate milk. You are wasting my time. And Ralph just rolls out.
Yeah.
Oh god, stupid shit. But yeah, when they actually get to the trial, they manage to find a lawyer in the form of the best lawyer ever, Lionel Hutz.
Yep.
Lionel Hutz does this excellent thing of, this is when we have break times, this is when we do this is when we do that. And the devil just goes, deal, but I get to decide the jury. And Lionel Hutz just goes, deal, turns around, wait. Do you remember who was on the jury?
Wasn't it like Blackbeard and Benedict Arnold and...
you got 2 of them, well done.
Not Mother Teresa, because she wasn't dead yet.
She also wasn't well known her evil yet.
Yeah. I forget who the lady was.
Well, no worries, I've got the list here. We've got Benedict Arnold, famous turncoat in the Revolutionary War. We've got Lizzie Borden. I had to Google this name because I don't know who the fuck she is. Apparently, she was accused of murdering her father and stepmother with an axe, but got acquitted. No one else was charged with the murder, so a lot of people suspect that yes, it was indeed her. But in the eyes of the American courts, she did nothing wrong.
Sure.
Richard Nixon, who was actually still alive at the time, but he owed the devil a favour.
Yeah, doesn't he go, I'm not dead yet?
Yeah. It's such a funny gag. John Wilkes Booth, everyone knows, killed Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Blackbeard the Pirate. I can talk for hours about Blackbeard the Pirate because I love pirates. We'll just leave it as he is the most infamous pirate ever, I'd argue.
Yes.
There's a great gag with there wasn't enough chairs, so they get a baby chair for Blackbeard. He sits on it and goes, "Arr, it shakes fiercer than the high seas."
Doesn't he go, this chair be high, says I?
Maybe. Either way, it's fucking hilarious to me. You got John Herbert Dillinger, who is not someone I know either. Apparently he was an American gangster during the Great Depression.
Yeah, he's I say bootlegger. He's a anti-prohibition gangster.
In when I googled it, he was most known for robbing a shit ton of banks.
Yeah, sure.
So a bit different to bootlegging. The last of the jury is a weird one. It's the starting lineup of the 1976 Philadelphia Flyers. I don't know what the joke here was. I googled them. They're basically a group of hockey players who are technically not that great, but were so thuggish on the ice that they beat teams they had no right beating.
Ah, okay.
So, nowhere near as evil as the rest of the lineup, but hey-ho, I guess that's a funny gag for people who were around in 1976.
I guess one of the writers had a chip on the shoulder about their team getting beaten by them.
Well, the big story is that they had a match against some Russians, and the Russians weren't very happy because their team was technically the better team, but they just got curb stomped by thuggery.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trial happens. Hutz is incompetent, and the devil has a great argument as to why he owns the soul, because there's literally a contract that got signed. Marge clutches out the argument by some bullshit. There's a picture where Homer wrote down, Marge owns me, heart, body, and soul, and the jury finds that, the devil can't buy Homer's soul off Homer because Marge already owns it.
Yep, however, the devil thinks this is sour grapes and turns Homer's head into a donut.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
There needs to be comeuppance here.
And then the police are just outside with their coffee waiting for him.
Better yet is Marge has to tell him off as well while he's sitting down because he's already had like 5 chunks taken out of him because Homer can't help but eat himself.
Yep. Stop picking at it. But I'm so sweet and tasty.
As an aside, this is a costume you can unlock in Hit and Run.
Okay.
You can unlock it for, I think, 999 coins in the very last level, which is the Halloween-themed level, so it fits.
Yeah, sweet.
It's fun. Next up, we've got a bit of a stopgap. Bart appears again, and he does another parody, this time of The Twilight Zone, which is fitting considering the next episode. I think Twilight Zone is one of those things where, even if you never watched an episode, you're familiar with the intro of looking at a dude, and he goes, they parody it in Futurama as well. That's why you walk through the scary door.
Scary door.
I never watched Twilight Zone when I was younger, except I caught one episode once and it fucked me up, so I never watched it again.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. If you're like a really small kid and rather impressionable, it's the kind of stuff that you really don't need to see.
The episode I watched involved a tattoo, so yeah. And also, the episode I watched when I was like 26, so I had tattoos, so it freaked me out more.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's not like the Addams Family, which is old spooky stuff that's actually fun because it's really wholesome.
Yeah, it's campy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the design philosophy behind Addams Family too. We need to make it absolutely clear to everyone that these two fuck.
Oh, yeah. So he gets the yawn at anything she says and starts kissing her up the arm.
Yeah, because every single family sitcom before Addams Family was, oh, I hate my wife, oh, I hate my husband. Adam and Morticia fucking love each other.
Oh, yeah, they do, yeah.
But yeah, next up we've got Terror at 5.5 feet. Bart has a nightmare about the bus crashing, only for it to come real when a little gremlin that looks a bit like a coked out Homer Simpson sabotages the bus.
Yeah, so the original that this is based on is the same thing but on a plane.
Yeah, it's the Twilight Zone episode Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
Yeah.
Which is why they parodied the Twilight Zone with Bart moments before.
Yeah, this is basically the breather mini episode between the two excellent ones.
Yeah, but there is an important thing that happens in this episode because we get a first official appearance of a character.
Oh?
Uta, the foreign exchange student from Germany.
Okay.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, I always heard his name as Gunter. But apparently it's Uta.
Yeah. We ate Uter and he's in our stomachs right now.
Apparently he was meant to be a one-time character, but obviously we know now that he crops up from time to time.
Normally in Treehouse of Horrors, so he can die.
That's fair.
I'm not even kidding, though.
No, you're right. But yeah, there's a few standout gags in this episode. The first one being that the one that sticks out in my mind is they cut out during the middle of Bart's freak out to just Kang and Kodos randomly on their spaceship going, look at this foolish human imagining things and being scared. Ha ha ha. And they look out their window and there's the exact same gremlin ripping apart their spaceship and they go, but I love that. Skinner scares the shit out of Bart at the beginning by sitting at the front of the bus in his coat drenched, and when asked to say why he's taking the bus, it's because his mother took his car keys because he was talking to a woman on the phone.
Doesn't he also explain that it was a telemarketer or something?
I don't think he goes into that much detail. Either way, Agnes believes it's a woman, and I've always had a gripe with Agnes's and Skinner's relationship, even more so when it's revealed that Skinner's not Skinner.
Yeah, that's probably one of the other most hated episodes ever.
I thought the episode was funny at the time, but it makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes the rest of the show. It cheapens the rest of the show.
Yeah.
If you treat that episode as canon, it cheapens the rest of the show.
Yeah, because even if Skinner had some sort of weird fucked up amnesia that made him thought he was Skinner, that makes more sense than he just puts up with it because.
Yeah, they do the same thing with Fat Tony as well. Like, he dies, Thin Tony comes to replace him, and then from the stress of having to be the mod boss in Springfield, he becomes a new Fat Tony.
I remember I watched a gangster, a former mafia member reacts to stuff, and he was talking about nicknames once, and he didn't even mean to reference Fat Tony. He just goes, nicknames are stupid in the mob. It's like, why is he called Fat Tony? Because his name's Anthony and he's fat. Yeah. It's fucking dumb. I love it. It's like, hey, why do they call you Legs? Because of my limp.
Johnny Tightlips.
I love Johnny Tightlips. I remember there's that episode where he gets stabbed, and it's just like, what happened to you, Johnny Tightlips? I ain't saying nothing. You could be more helpful.
Yeah. Why do we tell the doctor? Told him to go suck a lemon.
I fucking love it. Oh, it's so dumb. The other gag I want to talk about is Bart desperately trying to point out the little gremlin creature to Otto. Otto looks out and goes, "Oh, I got it, little dude." But he doesn't see the gremlin. He sees Hans Moleman in his shitty little car, and he just runs him off the road.
Yeah. Hadn't he just finished paying for it as well?
I don't remember, but it was funny. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
The episode ends with Bart finally getting the gremlin off the bus, but because he wrecks the bus so much, he gets condemned to an insane asylum for the rest of his life. As he's in a straitjacket being put onto the ambulance, he's just like, "That's fine. The world is safe. The gremlin is gone. Only for
the gremlin's on the bus." Yeah.
The gremlin
is on the.
The gremlin jumps up onto the
ambulance.
window of the back of the ambulance, holding Ned's severed head while cackling, and Ned just goes, "Hi, Bart!" Because Ned saved the creature, because he's like, "Oh, poor little thing," picks him up and just gets his head chopped off.
Yeah.
Next up, we got another in-between segment where we see the infamous picture of the dogs playing poker, which is I think, the first time I ever saw this painting.
The dogs, and they're playing poker!
Exactly. Homer freaks out for no reason. It's hilarious. But we've also got Bart going, we had a great episode lined up to go with this painting. However, the network execs deemed it too scary. So here's some junk we threw together about vampires.
Yep.
And this is probably the best episode of all time.
Yeah, I always reference the super fun happy slide.
It's so good. Oh, it's such a funny joke. It has no right being as funny as it is.
You can boil that entire episode down to super fun happy slide. It's when they're on the way to kill Mr. Burns, and Homer has to be reminded, no, I guess killing will be fun enough.
But yeah, I didn't bother doing the synopsis for this episode. It's a piss take on Bram Stoker's Dracula. What do you want? I've just written down some key gags, which I fucking love from this episode. The first off is Chief Wiggum mistaking the obvious vampire signs for being the acts of a mummy. Therefore, on the news, we cut to the police force destroying the Egyptian ring of the local museum.
Yep. These are the acts of a mummy.
Yep. Yeah. The family gets invited to dinner at Mr. Burns' mansion in Pennsylvania because they need it to be an American.
Yep.
They also get there, as they arrive at the place, I think it's either Marge or Homer, just goes, "Now kids, you remember to wash your necks like Mr. Burns asked, right?"
Yep.
And honestly, they do a really good job of transforming Mr. Burns into a really good lookalike for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, so all it really took was more spiky on his suit, and then for his hair to be, a little bit more up on end,
I mean, yeah, they gave him the classic Dracula coat, and yeah, they gave him the classic Dracula hair, and it looks scarily like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, it's Mr. Burns as played by Christopher Lee.
A little bit. He also has a self-moving shadow, which is a nice touch, because they didn't need to do that, but they did.
Yeah.
There's a great moment where a bunch of lesser zombie vampire type things are encroaching on Lisa while she's examining the coffins, and Bart can't talk. He just makes some while making random gestures, and Lisa just goes, yeah, I've seen your Three Stooges impression, which is a reference no one cares about in 2023.
Yeah, I've seen your curly too.
And yeah, the very first one of they almost get out of the super secret lair. Bart gets to the top just behind Lisa. Oh, super happy fun slide. I really shouldn't, but when am I going to be here again?
Yep. Yeah.
A little bit further on, you got Homer finally staking the head vampire, Mr. Burns. However, he puts it in, and I can't remember if it's Marge or Lisa, but they just go, "Dad, that's his crotch." Oh, yeah. But yeah, he kills Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns comes back to life for like 2 seconds to go, "You're fired," and then dies. That's it. And
just in time for a last dough. Yep.
The very final gag of the episode is the rest of the family are all vampires. They're about to bite Lisa. It freeze frames. Everyone looks at the camera and goes, "Happy Halloween, everybody!" And then they play Christmas music while Santa's little helper dances like Snoopy.
Yep. Also, Grandpa's vampire teeth are still false teeth. And they fall out. And Marge is the head vampire.
Yes, which makes sense. She's the head of the household.
Yeah.
There's not much else I've got written in my notes, except I do want to give writing credits and directed credits because, these Simpsons episodes are great. Also, it's a Halloween episode, so everyone has stupid jokes on their names.
Yeah.
So this is 3 episodes, so it's actually got a bunch of writers credited, including one Conan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah, back when he used to write for The Simpsons, yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to give these names as they were written in the Treehouse of Horror style. So we've got Watch Conan O'Brien. I think he might have had his show at this point. The late Bill Oakley. The Estate of John Weinstein. Disfigured Dan McGrath. Greg, It's Alive Daniels. Bilious Bill Canterbury.
Okay.
Those are the writers because, there's 3 mini episodes, so 2 writers per episode. Conan O'Brien was apparently in charge of specifically the in-between sketches with Bart.
Sure.
So, and directed by David Drybones Silverman.
Okay.
So, I think it's my favourite Simpsons episode of all time, and it's a really early... It's not even that early, it's season 5.
Yeah. As you say, it's only the 4th Treehouse of Horror, and it's in season 5. So, they've definitely found their legs by that point.
Pretty much, man. And again, golden age of Conan. Conan contributed to more than just this. I know famously, he wrote the Monorail episode.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's a standout. But, yeah, I think we can't really do the usual MVP stuff because we just gushed about 2 particular episodes, but we can if you want.
Nah, I think that's a good place to call it for today. So, if you liked the episode, you've got the comment section down below. If you want to leave us an email, if you're listening via one of the many audio platforms, you can send it to nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Yeah, we're always taking suggestions and, comments. But, it's going to be a goodbye from me this time.
Bye diddly-eye, neighbourinos.
Ahoy, hoy. Oh no, that's hello.